This is Kugan Cassius for Eiffel TV. We're at the MGM ground here ahead of the Moment card this Saturday at the MGM. With me from the Daily Telegraph, I've got my hero, Gareth A. Davies.
Very good.
What? You are my hero. How are you, Gareth?
I'm very well. It's nice to sit down with you, and I'm always playing around with you in your videos, and I watch your work. But this is the first time we've sat down and done a serious interview. I don't know what you're going to ask me about, but yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here in Studio A. It's where the big fights have their press conferences. We've got Radio Row behind us, where all the radio stations set up during the week, and they'll bring the big fighters in and they do radio station after radio station. It's an amazing setup here, all kinds of fighters here. A few years ago, I remember being here and helping the Bernard Hopkins and Joe Calzaghe fight get signed on a day when they went at each other, and I remember introducing Ed Simons and Richard Schaefer to each other in a corner after those two guys had gone at it. I think it set the ball rolling for that Mayweather. Not just me, but a couple of other Americans as well, because Ed Simons and Richard Schaefer didn't know each other. But after Bernard saying, "I'll never lose to a white boy," the juice was here that day. And this is a place where things happen. You know, Mike Tyson wanders in sometimes, Lennox Lewis is around, Keith Thurman was in earlier. It's a melting pot for cultures and stories, and it's a shame we don't have it in the UK really at the big fights, but maybe we will at Frochton Groves. What did you want to ask me anyway?
There's a minute and a half of you talking, I love it. Just talk about this for a second. Obviously the scale of the fights that are out here are probably on a more consistent level, bigger, because they have them quite regularly, whereas we're looking forward to like Frochton Groves, which is the big fight of the year so far, and it probably will be. So from a press point of view, this sort of thing wouldn't necessarily work in England for stuff. Would it?
I think it would. I think it's culturally different over here. I think this is the capital, the fight capital of the world, because it's different when you it's different when you've got not everyone's staying in this hotel, but 2 or 3 hotels, hotel resorts, will house everyone who's involved in the fight, all the fans, all the fighters. So there's that kind of entrapment culture where things bubble and boil. I think if we chose the right venue in the UK, if you chose the O2 Arena and everyone was staying at the hotel there next to the arena, and you had a media room set up next to the arena, it's very different, culturally different. They feed us here every day. You never get that in the UK. We get a crusty sandwich from Eddie Hearn and a couple of lukewarm glasses of water. No, that's probably a bit unfair on Eddie, but no, it's a different culture. No, the promoters do give us coffee and biscuits and whatever at press conferences, but it's a different culture over here. There's a culture of having 200 or 300 media people in the venue for the week. This is our base, this is our home. We're in here from 9 in the morning till 6 at night, and then we're probably having a few beers and a meal, and then we're working in our rooms because we're all on different time zones. I think it could work in the UK. The reason why some of the fights are so big here is because, certainly in my experience, over the last 6 or 7 years, Mayweather, Pacquiao, Khan and Ricky Hatton from kind of 2006 onwards was the catalyst for really big fights over here for the British media to be involved in. So we've had that gradually, a couple of fights a year, 3 fights a year. It's not as big as this every time, but it is big. I mean, I was here for Saul Alvarez and Mayweather. It was enormous. You couldn't move in here. There was so much noise at the weigh-in. The weigh-in felt like an amazing event. 15,000 people at a weigh-in. It's incredible. So it is possible in the UK with the right conditions. I think Eddie Hearn's done a great...
And the right fights? Surely.
Yeah, exactly, in the right fights.
Yeah.
But I think what you need is, you know, it's not the same when there's a fight in New York, for example, because people are staying in nefarious hotel, or different, not nefarious, they're staying in kind of like different hotels all over the city, spread around, so you're not coming together all the time. You're only coming together for a press conference, you know, or the weigh-in or the fight itself. I think with Frochton Groves, with a fight of that magnitude, I think with a Quigg and a Frampton, you could do it in Belfast. As long as you've got a hotel by the venue, and you kind of focus everything, all the events around that all week, I think you can create those kind of atmospheres and invite lots of other fighters in, get the whole stables in. All Al Heyman's guys are here, you know. But this is a special card, and it's a special card as well, Coogan, because this is make or break for Amir Khan right now. It's make or break, and so it's great to be here.
Let's backtrack to last year.
Off that rambling monologue.
It's fine. I'm not going to call myself British press, but the majority of the British press were under the assumption that Floyd Mayweather would be fighting our Amir Khan. This was ongoing for quite a while. The poll was thrown in, blah, blah, blah. As it turned out, a disappointment for Amir Khan not to be facing Floyd Mayweather. You say this is a make or break for Amir Khan. If he beats Collazo, which is not a given, considering Collazo's coming off the back of a great win over Ortiz. Is this fight, realistically, as much as everyone sort of in their camp say it is, I spoke to Leonard Ellaby yesterday, he said of course it is and everything, do you realistically think that one of 3 opponents potentially for Mayweather in the coming year and a half will be Amir Khan, should he come through the Collazo fight?
Right now, I think he's in a really good position. Right now, before the fight, here we are, 48 hours before the fight, he's in a good position. I think Keith Thurman is in a better position right now because of what he did last weekend. I thought Thurman was exceptional. Aggressive, fast, raw, vicious, tenacious, yet still pick-apartable by Floyd, and the right time for Floyd to fight him.
You think Keith Thurman's ahead of Amir Khan in the Mayweather sweepstakes?
Yeah,
really?
I do. Yeah, I do, yeah. After what he did last weekend, yeah, definitely. But what I'd say about, I think Thurman beats Khan. I think Thurman beats Khan as well. I think he beats Khan, and I think he's, I do think he's ahead of Khan in the sweepstakes. But I'm saying this 48 hours before Amir Khan fights. Here's the proviso. Amir Khan comes out and boxes against Floyd Mayweather like he did against Marco Antonio Barrera, like he did against Andrea Kotelnik to win the WBA light welter. You know, we're talking 6 years ago, 5 years ago. 6 years ago? Yeah, it's 5.5 years ago, isn't it? If he boxes like that, sleek, slick, precise, in, out, head movement, bobbing, using all his speed and all his footwork, and mesmerising opponents by being precise, not being a brave, bloody warrior. Stupid. He's not a scrapper. I spoke to Ricky Hatton earlier in the week, and Ricky, God forbid, it's really unlucky he didn't get out here, but he was so on point about what Amir needs to do in this fight. If Amir fights like he can, smart boxing, yeah, he's going to get caught every now and again, but withdraw, move, you know, he can really outbox Collazo, I think. But he's got to look convincing. I'm not one of those people who believed Amir Khan was the right opponent for Floyd Mayweather. I thought it was a bit of a joke. I've got to be honest about it. I thought it was a bit of a joke because first fight at welterweight against the pound-for-pound king. Amir looking vulnerable in the last couple of fights he's been in. But I don't mean really vulnerable at Julio Diaz. He's just off balance and his timing wasn't there and it just wasn't right. I'll just finish the point. Yeah. That basically, it didn't feel right for Amir to get this fight now. I think it really works in his favour not to have Floyd Mayweather now. I think Collazo's really made for him, and I think if Amir Khan boxes sensibly, I think he'll school this guy. And it wouldn't even surprise me to see Amir Khan TKO him with barrages of punches in the 8th or 9th round if he doesn't revert to doing that on the ropes and thinks he can do what he learnt with Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao stands on the ropes and spars. No, Amir Khan's got to move. He's got brilliant cardiovascular levels. If he does that, I think he'll school Collazo. I don't think Collazo will knock him out, but if he gets caught, for me it's game over with Mayweather. Do you agree? Or do you think that's fair?
I'll tell you what I think. When it was touted as Mayweather Khan, there was a lot of people that said what you just said there, that you know, what has he done to deserve it, etc., etc. But if you're in Amir Khan's position, and like I said, this is his first fight at 147, and a fight with Floyd would have been his first fight at 147. What are they in the game for? They want to fight the best.
No, they're taking it for the money.
Pardon?
They're never going to beat Mayweather. They're never going to beat Mayweather in his first fight at welterweight, looking like he was. Right, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it.
Should he not take that fight?
I want to clarify with you. I didn't say he didn't deserve it. What I said was he wasn't the right opponent. He wasn't. It didn't work. It just didn't work. It didn't work as a promotion.
Do you not think
didn't work.
Khan versus Mayweather is a more competitive fight than Maidana versus Mayweather?
No, equal.
Bearing in mind,
Mayweather will knock Khan out. Mayweather will knock Khan out.
Bearing in mind that Khan has beaten Maidana. Bearing in mind also...
He got through by the skin of his teeth.
Still beaten.
Maidana was down early in the fight and hurt to the body. I was there, I remember it well. Yeah. In that 10th round, I thought he was being murdered.
Okay.
Yeah? And listen, he showed fantastic levels of recovery to come back. His conditioning levels were amazing in that fight. And he showed what a warrior he is. But he also showed how vulnerable he is. And we saw the blueprint for beating Amir Khan that night. You stand with him, you punch through him, and if you're a big puncher, you'll hurt him, and eventually you'll stop him.
Gareth,
if Maidana had done that earlier in the fight, he'd have lost that fight. Amir would have.
Do you not think now we're in a boxing world where the best fighters, as in the people who hold belts, aren't necessarily the best fighters, and the people put into mandatory positions aren't necessarily the best people to be put forward for that?
It's all over boxing, it's riddled with it. And let me just clarify as well, I still think Amir is an incredibly gifted boxer, by the way, but I think he's a boxer. You know, you mentioned fighters there. I think Amir has got the skill set to be great as a boxer. Great, he's still got it. Floyd Mayweather is great as a boxer. I don't want to write when Mayweather's... No, I'm serious about this. I don't actually want to write while Floyd Mayweather is fighting. I hate it because I like to savour every moment, because you only get to see live once. You don't... Once it's gone live, it's all a repeat.
Yeah.
It's a repeat on TV. Live is incredible, and to see how his twitch fibres early in a fight, the adrenaline and fear of being caught early on. When Floyd does that, the first couple of minutes when he fought Saul Alvarez, you know, his twitching, it's fantastic. It's just, it's beauty. It's a form of beauty, and you know, a form of beauty and movement. And I think Mayweather beats everyone out there. I think he beats Maidana, I think he beats Khan, I think he beats Thurman, but I think Thurman is the most credible opponent, as I've said. I'd like to see him fight Sergio Martinez, who's got a really vicious punch, but who's obviously slowing down. I'd like to see him fight Erislandy Lara. You know, it's...
Danny Garcia?
Yeah, Danny Garcia, but I think he might do the same to Danny Garcia. It might be a more technical fight. I think the problem is there isn't really... I mean, the man I want to see him fight is Manny Pacquiao. You know.
What about in a couple of fights, Sean Porter front?
Yeah, and Sean Porter, yeah. But I think you might find... I mean, just to wrap this bit up, how we've digressed, I think if Khan looks good on Saturday night, he will get the Mayweather fight in September. But he may find that he's in the balance with Thurman again. He may find that. Thurman made a massive statement on Saturday night, and it's the perfect time for Floyd to fight him before Thurman gets too good in 4 fights' time. Because Thurman could go from... He's almost world level at the moment. He could go to elite in 4 fights' time, because he's still a bit open in the way he fights.
I really rate King Thurman, but you're still talking about an opponent that Amir Khan has already beaten as well. I know it was a different style. You're talking about the win over Julio Diaz.
Oh, about Diaz, yeah. No, I'm just saying I think Thurman beats Khan. I just think... I think unless Khan makes him miss a lot, because Thurman's going to come after him and they're going to have to meet in the middle. You know?
I was just asking you, you know, you said about him being deserving over Khan, or more in the sweepstakes.
No, I just think he's more credible because of the power, because of the speed, because he's got both those things, and because of the tenacity to fight. Amir, if I'm being really critical here, Thurman really sits in hard on his punches. Khan has flurries of arm punches sometimes.
Do you think Keith Thurman's going to end up being one of these boxers that's
Avoided?
Hugely avoided.
Yeah. But they can't, because they're all with Heyman, and the great thing is they're all with Heyman at the moment. He'll match them all into a jigsaw puzzle. Yeah. So where else are we going with this?
Moving off this, I just wanted to talk to you about the other British fighters that are on the bill.
I thought you were going to talk about the British media. Let me slag off all the other British media.
You can slag off whoever
No,
you
I
want.
don't want to. I'm only kidding.
Anthony Ogogo makes his Las Vegas debut. It's the second time he'll be fighting in America.
Well, as you know, I taught him the word triumvirate. Has that one gone up yet?
That's gone up. Just gone out.
I'll get a little bit of stick for that one. What people don't realise is that we have a lot of fun together. You and I, that is.
Absolutely. Try and kick me in the face every time I see you, Gareth.
No, kind of.
How good is Anthony Ogogo in your opinion? Or do you rate him at all?
If he becomes world champion, he'll have surprised me. I really like him. I think he's very marketable. He's not as good looking as he thinks he is. I really like Anthony. He's a brilliant guy. He really is a nice guy. I really enjoy working with him. But I think, and he has come on since he turned pro, but he could be one of those people that works extremely hard. He will get the most out of himself. You know, he's an athlete. And I think he might win a world title, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for him.
Completing the trio of British fighters.
Or a triumvirate even.
Triumvirate. Ashley Theophane, who's based in...
Did I interrupt that interview as well earlier?
I didn't interview him earlier.
Okay.
I interviewed him the other day.
He's a great guy.
Ashley Theophane has come out here and put his foot in that Mayweather camp, and they've all taken to him. I've spoken to every member of that money team, and they think a lot of Ashley Theophane. I understand that Floyd and Leonard Ellaby as well, they think a lot.
Am I allowed to drink during this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of Ashley Theophane. He made the right decision to come here and sort of base his trade out here, didn't he?
I spoke to Ashley on my Fight Club show on Talk Sport before he was fighting the last time, on the Mayweather card, wasn't it? Against Canelo. He fought in September, didn't he?
Yes.
He lost that night, didn't he? He lost, and he was going to get a world title after that, and he lost.
He's fought since then.
Has he? Yeah, I can't remember,
Yeah,
but I spoke to him. No, but what was I saying? I spoke to him that night, or the night before. No, it was that night. It was that night, and Ashley has travelled all over the world, all over America. You know, he's a road warrior, and he's not young. He's got a family, isn't he? He's a proper man. He's a proper man. And I was teasing him earlier because he was doing a video interview with your American rival.
He's not a rival, he's a counterpart.
Counterpart, but also he's your rival, mate, as well. He's had 220 million video hits.
He's not a rival.
Okay.
Because he's based in America and I'm based in England.
He said he's an internet rival.
Not really.
He's had 220 million hits on his videos. You will one day. What are you up to, 100 million?
No, nowhere near it.
Where are you at the moment then?
We're nowhere near it.
Turn the camera around so I can interview you a little bit.
No, Gareth, this is about you. We're nowhere near Ellie Sekbak.
But anyway, he was with Ashley, and I was teasing him because Ashley was saying, "Oh, the streets of Paddington are rough, man," and I said, at the end of the interview, Ellie always keeps his thingy running for the, you guys like to do kind of quite jungly stuff that you just keep it going, and it's great. It goes viral.
As long as you're not doing nothing wrong, carry on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, what's wrong in terms of what do we do wrong at these things? We have fun, we work hard, we have fun. You can get up to all kinds of bad things, Coogan, looking at me like that. Do you know what I mean? You can do whatever. You're a young man. Have you got a family?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've got a family. I've got no wife.
That's what I mean. You can get up to what you want here at the Spearmint Rhino and all those kind of places that sponsor you.
I'd love to be sponsored
by the Spearmint. I'm sure you would. But I was just joking with Ashley about how the streets of Paddington aren't all rough, because you've got rich and poor living together, and Ashley is someone who's testament to what boxing is and can be and can do, and he came over to the Mayweather gym not to be found by Mayweather. Came over, wanted to have the experience, do some sparring, and they listened to a guy with a genuine story. And his story is I am going to be what I dream. I'm going to be what I dream to be. And it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes when you're around him, when he's talking about his life, when he's talking about himself. I think he's a great guy.
I absolutely agree. This video has run nearly 20 minutes.
Keep going. Or is it too long now? I feel like I've barely scratched the surface.
Do you know what? We can do one again. I think.
Oh, thanks.
No, we can do
what
one
if
again.
I decide to do it, you mean?
If you decide to do
Yeah.
it. And you don't take a waiver.
I won't take a waiver, you know.
No, we want to cap it here. We'll do another one tomorrow.
Oh, will we?
At some point about something else. We just wanted to talk to you about the British fighters that are on the card.
Are you going to make me famous like you made Eddie Hearn famous?
I'm not,
then?
but I think, to be honest, people that
I'm
don't...
teasing you, Coogan.
I haven't made Eddie Hearn famous, but no, it's good that I've talked to you for 20 minutes and it was like 93% serious and 7% of talking about Spearmint Rhino. So with that in mind, hopefully people will see the intelligent side of you. After all, you are.
I don't care what people. Most of my, listen. I do a podcast on the UFC. I do a weekly TV show on the UFC on BT Sport. I've written for the Telegraph for 21 years, Coogan. I'm 50 next year. My children are grown up. I love combat sports. I write for the Telegraph. I write for Ring magazine on boxing. You know, I love it, and I really make the most of it. And I try and tell the stories of fighters.
I just want our audience to like you.
Sorry?
I want our audience to like you.
But it doesn't make any difference whether.
No,
who is your audience? Who is your audience then? Have you analysed them?
It's the younger, sexier crowd.
Yeah, well, as long as there's lots of nice females there, that's fine. The younger, sexier crowd. The younger crowd aren't always sexier. Do you know that?
Absolutely. I'm just going to show you something, Gareth.
Yeah, cool.
Can you see that? That means that battery is just about to run out. You've run my battery out. Gareth Davies, thank you very much for this insightful talk. I'm going to grab you again before the week's out, which is usually tomorrow or Saturday.
But the thing is, I've known you for quite a time, and we've never sat down like this before. But yeah, I don't think you realise that I do quite a lot of TV and radio. And
I know exactly what you do.
Yeah. What I find funny about you is that is your Twitter picture still you in the Sky studio? I hope you've changed that now. It's been on there a bit long.
It's been on there for...
That shouldn't be the be all and end all for you, baby.
It's not, but at the
moment... The backdrop for you should be the MGM Grand Garden Arena now. No. The big time. Because Sky Boxing fucking studio ain't the big time.
Listen, that was a proud moment for me, Gareth.
Why?
To appear on ringside.
Was it?
Well, how many other internet blaggers do you know that...
No, listen, I've got to say this about you as well, I'll say it straight into the camera. I really like you, I think what you do is really brilliant. I think hats off to you because you've gone out and you've pursued, it's a dream for you to do this, and you know as well, people think, oh, you know, Coogan, in fact my painters know you, they went to school with you even. Do you know that?
What's his name? Someone spoke to me about
Dan the painter.
Dan...
Big Dan. Tall Dan. And his brother.
Someone said this.
What they told me is, Coogan never drank when we used to go out with him when he was younger, but he always used to pull the birds because he could dance. He's got the moves. He always had the moves. He never drank. He was teetotal. He used to come out with us clubbing, and he'd always have a group of girls around him. It's only because he's a big fucking girl himself.
Absolutely.
But I love you, mate.
Absolutely. Gareth, thanks for talking to us. I'm just waiting for this battery to die out.
Cool. My pleasure.
Thanks for talking to us.
My pleasure.
Oh, we're going for a spud. See, Gareth, you're 50 young at heart.
49.
49.
I am young.
You're like the B-hop of the press world.
Yeah.
Gareth, thanks for talking to us. We'll catch up at the end of the week.
Pleasure.
All right, Coogan Cassius, Gareth A. Davies for IFL TV. Follow him on Twitter at
Gareth A. Davies DT.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.